नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेष शून्यवादि पश्चात देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णव श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा प्रभुज एंड मदर्स I'm sorry just finally got everything together here. Okay, mother and Prabhu's, anybody would like to who's supposed to sing today? Am I audible?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, yes, you're audible.
Okay. Would you like to sing, Mother? Jai Radha Madhava and Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yes, Prabhu, I can do that.
Okay, let's do that. Let's start with that.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारि यमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारि यमुनातीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Very nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna, dear Prabhus and Mothers. I'm really sorry, really sorry for the delay. I should at least notify you what's going on, but I was so wrapped up of fixing his Wi-Fi, like I forgot even because I want to get the job done. Anyway, finally it's worked out. We are in an area where little storms sometime break the branch of it or a tree knock out, and then you are out of electricity or Wi-Fi like that. It happens. But fortunately, Krishna is very kind. Despite my disqualification, he allows me to continue serving. That's eternally grateful for that to Lord Krishna and to the devotees. And thank you all to remain patient and not complaining and tolerating me. So let us offer our Puspanjali, and then Mother Supriya Radhika Devi going to give us her true present on this Dasya Rasa today. Om Jnanati Mirandhasya Ginanjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurube Namo Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Pada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Vancha Kalpataruvesya Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanibho Vaishnavibho Namo 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 Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namo Panchatatmatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktaksham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति पदे देवी सतवते नमो नमो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तबिंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च आसिन्धवैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः Hare Krishna, Prabhus and Mother. This section of Nectar of Devotion is very scientifically set up to see each rasa. When you present, I want you to be aware that we are looking for something from your presentation. What we are looking for is for every rasa. Like for an example, if you say Santaras, which we some sort of completed other day. First, we have to look at the definition between, like, what is Santarasa means. For every rasa, we have to look at that way. What is Santarasa literally means? Then question comes. So, for an example, in Santarasa, the definition Rupa Goswami Pad gave, which Mother Prabhina Devi nicely presented, that Santarati is not Santarasa. Santarati, when it is directed towards absolute God, then it become bhava. So rati become bhava, or you can say sthai bhava, when it is directed towards Krishna. You have rati, every living entity has a rati. But in order, when we say we have to cultivate, we have to develop bhava, means when roti is directed towards Krishna, then it becomes bhava or sthai bhava. So what is santaroti? Then when santaroti mix with vibhav, anubhav, sattik bhav, bevichari bhav, that are appropriate for santarasa, becomes very tasteful in the heart of the devotee, who are predominated by, you can say, equanimity in Santaras. So every presenter must show what is that roti of that rasa first. What is that roti? Definition in a short. Dasya. Dasya Rasa. Okay, what is Dasya roti? Then how Dasya roti mixes with Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattik Bhav, and Bevichari Bhav. It is not just reading or demonstrating what I learned. We have to put together like this. Then we can carry on and we can actually see every devotee in that category actually demonstrate in their life. That's how they serve Krishna. They nourishes their heart and they nourishes Krishna's heart. So after defining the definition, you have to say what is the biva for that roti. So for example, in Santa, Bibab also has a two division. One is Alamban. I did post, didn't I post? No, I posted something else. I posted two types of Santa Bhakta. So every Bibab, you have to give some idea about Vishay Alamban. Whose this love is offered to? For who? What kind of personality? Or it's all Krishna, but Krishna has unlimited form, unlimited rasa also. But primarily is five. So when you say that, for an example, Santaras, you can say they the bliss in Brahmananda of the Nirvishesh Badi is extremely limited and feeble. So is the Atmananda of the yogis, those who delight in themselves. So the bliss of realizing Bhagavan somewhat superior to this. So realizing of the Swarup of Ishwar is the cause of much satisfaction and bliss. And the support of Santaras is what? Four-armed form of Narayan. Who is Narayan? Then you have to give some quality. In Vishayalamban, you have to give the quality of the object of worship. What's the quality? Well, he's supreme. He's the possessor of all opulences. Okay, got it. But guess what? He's not stealing. He's not after his devotee. He's not chasing his devotee. He's not, do all kinds of midnight dancing with the girl. Not like this. So these are the quality of Vishwalamban. Now what am I looking for? I'm looking for peace, harmony, joy within me. Okay. Yeah, you worship that, Vishayalamban, the Lord Narayan, I'll get that. But do you have an example? These are called Ashrayalamban. Ashrayalamban means who is doing it? Can I follow that person? Like four Kumaras for Santaras. Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanat Kumar, Sanandana. They are Atmaramis. They are self completely satisfied within themselves. They think they are spirit. They are not offender. They are not Mayavadi. They are Brahmavadi. Mayavadi is not a follower in any rasa. Brahmavadi is, yes. Okay, that's good. So you have some idea. What are the uddipan that stimulate this? Well, like imagine universal form. Oh, wow. Just imagine God knows everything. Wow. Like this. Some quality related to his supreme you can say, we can develop empirical knowledge, philosophical speculation. Gyana Mishra Bhakta. They're Santa Bhaktas. So that's good. What are the symptoms that they exhibit? They exhibit symptom like a Santa Bhakta devotee will say, address to God, oh, you are the master. You are protector of all of us. They may even cry out to the Lord if needed. Santa Rati means peaceful affection. You don't think of bully God, Krishna challenging to Kashi. Hey, I'm going to show you, send you to hell. Then Krishna put his hand inside the mouth. Oh my God, his throat choked. No, you don't think of God like that kind of activity. I mean, God does, Krishna does this, but that's not for Santa Bhakta. So these are some thought. And then you may say, what about the Sattvic Bhav? How will I feel? What kind of Sattvic mood will manifest in me? Well, there will be some transformation. Transformation is like standing here on end. You may have a perspiration. You may have a becoming stunned. But what about when Krishna left? Brajavashi fainted. No, Santa Bhakta will never feel like fainting. They don't have separation like other higher rasas. Then what kind of feeling they have? They have a feeling maximum like, okay, I want to see God. That's all, the burning little. Not blazing, that kind of feeling will never come. It will be intense, but to a degree, not completely devastated. Sometimes they may remorse, self-disparagement, nirved, patience, jubilation, conviction. They have a good understanding sometimes, remembrance, despondency. These are basic foundation of all the rasa, but it is more visible individually in Santa Rasa. So then question comes, how many types of Santa Rati are there? So that's why I come to a picture that I mentioned, I think I posted there, that there are two types of, one is Atmaramis, one is Tapasvi. And you be familiar what Atmaramis does versus what Tapasvi does. So with the Dasya Rasa, similar pattern will be followed, that you will give the definition, what is, how the Dasharati becomes Dasya Rasa, and then you break down all these four elements, makes Roti into Rasa. Okay. I hope that is clear. Is that okay, everyone? Or am I confusing you? Anybody? Are you confused or you are actually keeping on top? Yes, Mother Sankari.
Krishna Prabhu. So, uh, Shanta Rasa Bhaktas, um, they so they do not render any sort of service to the Lord.
They do service, lot of service, like reporter. The Rupa Goswami writes that song, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Over there he said, Karunam Kurumayi Karuna Bharite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charita. Four Kumaras are not into Madhurja Rasa or Sakkarasa, but they are reporter. They glorify. In Vrindavan, the birds are the big, big rishis, yogis. They did thousands of year meditation. And whole day night, they look at Krishna and then they close their eye and they talk about it. Oh, he looks like this, he's beautiful, this, that. They glorify. This is how they serve. Service is there, but it is not known as a service, what we think of service with the senses and everything else. I mean, they engage the senses, ear to hear, mouth to speak. Is that gives the idea?
Yes, Prabhu, it does. So, I was just thinking the difference between Shanta and Dasya. Um, so they would not be called, they are not Dasya, right? They would they do not. So I understand that's it's a special category altogether, special. I mean, it's a rasa in itself. Um, Maybe Prabhu, today's presentation on Dasya may probably clear up some things. I'm just thinking that if they are also glorifying Krishna and they accept the supremacy of Krishna, how are they different from Dasya, uh, those the devotees in Dasya ras?
Very good. Very good. Good question. Dasarati, if you think Dasarati becomes tasteful in the heart of devotee by these four ingredients like santos, but each ingredients are composed of dasya related. For an example, santa, they don't see they have any possession, urgency. Possession is like, I want to serve, not that God needs my service. Let me glorify. But Dasya will feel, oh, I need to clean this singhasan so the Lord can sit. I have to do the fanning. They feel because they have some possession, mamata. He's my Lord. I have to serve him. That is missing in Santa. Not that missing, but they don't focus on
Makes sense.
possession is not there. Just
So
like a
Prabhu,
mother sees a child, you can say in Batsul also. Mother sees a child. And just by looking at the child, mother thinks, well, oh, he needs to be doing this. I have to do this. I have to bathe him. I should give him some food like this. Their affection causes those services, isn't? But that affection is not enough. They also have a possession. It's my son. I have to take care. So some mamata. In Santa, God is complete. He doesn't need food. It's not that they cannot offer the food. I need the food. So let me offer the Lord also. But they don't think like he has to have food. But Vatsulya, definitely. Krishna will die if I don't feed him. That's how Mother Jashoda thinks. Is that make more clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Prabhu, brings me to another question is, are there any Shanta Bhaktas in Vrindavan? Would there be any Shanta Bhaktas inside Vrindavan?
I thought we talked about it
Okay,
yesterday.
yeah, the birds, the trees, they are the Shanta Bhaktas inside the Vrindavan.
Um, I don't know if when you define as a Santa who sees nothing is required, the master, he's not hungry. If you look at that verse, 7.9.11, Bhagavatam, one of the famous verse that Prabhupada quote that Noeva Atmana Prabhu Nijolava Purna. Prahlad Maharaj is speaking. Prahlad Maharaj, can you imagine? Prahlad Maharaj is speaking to the Nishingadev right in front of him. And he says, you don't need anything. You are self-satisfied. Now, of course, it is not the same thing as Santipuri etiquette. They say, when you go to, okay, I hope nobody is from Santipur here, but they have a joke in Mayapur that Santipur, Advaitacharya's places, there was opposition, there was a three favorable sons, three unfavorable. Prabhupada writes useless sons, like a very heavy statement, useless sons. Wow. But anyway, they have a common thing. So if you go there in their house and they don't want to serve you anything, they say, thank you for coming. I hope someday you come and have some meal with us. Where you didn't even invite us inside and ask how we are, how is going on. You already like giving a statement. I hope someday in future you will come and eat with us. Means no food today. Did you get it? Now, Santa Bhakta doesn't do that. They are not saying like that. But Santa Bhakta does not feel. If you look at 7.9.11, did Prahlad Maharaj lie? No, he didn't lie. Prahlad Maharaj is pure devotee. There's no question. But look at what he says. Anybody has the access, you can read. Just the first line. Noeva Atmana Prabhu Nijalabha Purna Manav Jana Vidusha Karuna Brinite. Those verses are beautiful, Prahlad Maharaj is teaching. But you can see Prahlad Maharaj what category he is. His prayer shows his mentality. Hanuman will not talk like this. You can think like Gorura, even with Dasya there is a differences. Gorura Dev is carrier, he serves the Lord. He knows the Lord is everywhere, but still he carries the Lord on his back and takes to the place he has to go. But when Hanumanji approached, Hanumanji also Dasharas, his emblem, but he approached Gorura, excuse me, Gorura, because in the Mohiravan place, Ram and Lakshman got trapped by the snakes, filled with snakes, this place for worship. And Hanumanji is thinking, oh my God, how many snakes I'm going to kill? I have to take them out of the Lord's body, like they like tied up Lord, both Lord. So then immediately suggestion was giving, call Garuda. Just by seeing Garuda, all snake will disappear from this place. So Hanumanji ran over there to from Harivarsha, I mean it's a little far, but for Hanuman it's not a big deal. He went to this Garuda planet and says, Garudev, can you come right now? Why? Lord needs your service. Lord needs help. Come. Excuse me, I am a little bewildered. People needs help. I take Lord on my back to help the people. God does not need help. How is that you explaining? Hanumanji tells Garuda like this, I don't have a time for this explanation. You coming or not serving? And left. He's so busy on helping the Lord, he doesn't want to waste time on Bhagavatam class. because Bhagavatam class is actually service to the Lord who needs the help. Now Guru Dev is thinking, I know people needs help. I carry the Lord, and his in his head is going. He's a pure devotee, Maha Bhagavat from spiritual world, but in his head he could not figure it out. How is that God needs help? I may need help. Even I don't ask for the help because I'm already his servant. I don't need. But in this world, everybody needs help. So I bring the Lord. But how can God needs help? Then he's thinking, could Hanuman do wrong? Maybe. Then he thinks, no, 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 he cannot be wrong because he's a great devotee. I know he's superior to me, but he didn't want to explain. So he went to Brahmaji. Brahmaji figured it out. When Gaurav went there, is the Lord appeared as a Ram and Lakshman? Hanumanji just told me, and how is that God needs help from me? I could not put together. Brahmaji understood. He said, I don't have a time to explain. I'm sorry. You go somewhere else to figure it out. Is the Ram Lakshman God? Yes, they're God, but I cannot explain you. And then he goes to the Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva says, you have come, very nice. He said, how is that Ram and Lakshman, if they're God, what kind of Vishnu Tattva God is that they need help from me, an insignificant servant? Can you explain? He said, you remind me of Bhushandi's story. He said, please explain. He said, I'm not going to tell you that. You go to Bhushandi, he will tell you. So he's going round and round and round, and then finally go to Bhushandi, and then he express. But then he had a little, now Prabhu's and Mother, don't take it in personally. He does not have a caste system or racism or some kind of. But every species, there is a hierarchy and lowerarchy. Even in Nanda Maharaja's village in Golok Vrindavan, he thinks I'm a Vaishya, the Brahmana has to do the sacrifice. He never sit down to do the sacrifice himself. So we're not fighting that way. This is respected. Daiva Varna Ashram. Krishna likes it. Krishna wants blessing from Brahmana every day. Does Brahmana need blessing or Krishna need blessing? Don't argue with this. We're talking about Lila. Krishna wants blessing from Brahmana. Let the Brahmana keep blessing, and he likes it. Don't argue that Krishna is superior to Brahma. We say that, no? Namo Brahmana Devaya. Go Brahmana Itayacha. Are Baba, you are Brahmana Devaya. You are protector of Brahmana. You are the supreme. But that logic don't apply there. It's a Leela. He wants mercy of Brahmana. Let him get mercy of Brahmana. Be happy with that. So Gorura saw that why Shiva sent me to learn the lesson from my own species, but from the lowest form. Crow is not a respected in a animal in a bird's world. Gororo is like a brahmana, and crow is like a lower than Sudra, like that, because crow eats from everywhere. But then happened to be he was fortunate that Bhusundi was talking that day. And at one point, Gororo did not come in the class. You ever wonder sometimes senior devotee don't come in the class, they listen from behind or back? It's possible because it is also in the Nitya Siddha's level. So Gorora is thinking, I want to hear it behind the bush, but I can hear it. I was thinking like how the Bhushundi speak in a crow voice, how this Gururo's ear hears it. Is it like same vibration sequence? Then I thought it's just wasting my time. Transcendental sound vibration will act where there is a language barrier or not. I don't know. But my mind creates sometimes like I wonder. So then Gororo was speaking, Bhushundi was speaking and Gororo was listening. At one point, Bhushundi said, when Lord Ram appeared, I had a doubt. How can this little boy be Supreme Lord? When Gororo heard this, he said, this is my problem. How do I do it? I want to hear. I don't want to miss any word. But then he has to come in front of all the crows, and it's a little bit like a prestigious. But the greed was so good that he came right in front. He didn't care what low class, high class species. So then he listened and he tell the story how Lord Ram was eating a little bread mother Kaushalya made. Pita. I don't know what do you call pita in English. Pita is like not pancake, but something like that. But it has a sweet automatically. Huh? So Lord Ram, just like a little child, he is splitting the bread. Not bread. I mean, it has a sweet. It's very nice. Anybody knows pita, you'll know what it is. I'm talking. I don't know the English name. So he split it,
Rice
little,
cake.
little. What is it?
Rice cake.
Rice
Look
cake.
like.
Okay, looks like. Okay, I take that. So he breaks it. He puts something in his mouth. Then he throw to the other birds. There's so many birds. And Bushundi thought, I'm a crow, another bird, so I have a already eligibility because he's feeding the birds. And if he's God, I'm going to test it right now. So he takes a little more, throw it. And Bushundi is trying to come nearby, but Lord Ram somehow or other avoiding to give him. Then finally throwing other side, the birds coming that side. Bushundi also goes that side. It's like a little lila is going on testing. Prabhu's and mother, be careful before you meet. There will be test. It's not like easy access to see Lord. So anyway, he throws little. At one point, finally, he jumped on the other side when Ram threw it and grabbed that piece before any bird could get it. So then he said, still I'm not convinced he's God or not. So then what happened? He fly to Lord Ram's hand and grab the whole cake and fly away in that. And then he saw Lord Ram started crying. Lord Ram started crying. Just like a little baby, if somebody take away the food, the baby cries. This is not God. It's not possible. If he's God, he would not cry for this cake. So he's doubting. But then the whole story goes, is a long story. I will come to the end. That he had a little doubt that Brahmaji said he's God. How is he God? It's not proven right now. He's crying just like an ordinary child. How is God? So he's thinking like, I'm going to look at, test little more, little more. He comes closer, closer, closer. At one point, Lord Ram felt like a little, needs little water to drink or, a lot of food went in. And he's like open mouth wide. All of a sudden, Bhushundi saw herself or himself uh, inside the mouth of Ram. He's like, oh, I'm going inside his mouth. Sure enough, went inside his stomach and fly for million years, million universes. And then after that, he thought, why am I flying in all these universes? What's going on? Where did it all start? Oh, that boy! Where am I? Inside his stomach. Then all of a sudden, Lord Ram spit out, poof, like this. And with the spit, this crow comes out from his mouth. And then he bowed down. Then Bhushundi said, I bow down. He said, you are inconceivable. You are acting like a little child, but you are supreme absolute truth. Of course, Gorura didn't even talk. He just fly where Hanumanji want me to go. He said, I did a big mistake hearing this. I committed offense. Of course, by the time he went there, as soon as he arrived, all the snake disappeared. He said, I'm here to serve. He lost the point. Anyway, the point is here that Hanumanji is also Dasya Rasa and Garuda also Dasya Rasa. But can you see the degree of Dasya, servitor? Gorora needs some logic, some reasoning, explanation before he extend his service that level, because he was not aware that you serve God, God also needs help. Santo means I don't need, God doesn't need help at all. That's why that verse, if you look at that verse, I mean, many verses are like that. Navatmana Prabhu Nichala Purna. That God does not need, He's self satisfied. Is that true or not? Yes, it is true. In the beginning, it is true. God doesn't need. Then what causes God to be hungry? Your love to serve Him causes Him hungry. Okay. Is that good enough? Okay. I see Mother Provina Devi raised hand, followed by Mother Kamala Devi.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. My question was, would Lord Brahmaji be considered a Shanta Rasa devotee?
Santa Rasa devotee. You have to ask him. You can ask him. You chant Brahma Gayatri, no? He's there. You can connect through that. Because you have to go above. Bhu, Bhuva, Sa, Om, Bhu, Bhuva, Sa, Tat, Savitur. So when you pass through that, right there, Brahmaji is there. You have to pass through that abode. You can ask him. Brahmaji can be, but then we hear also Brahmaji came as a Haridas Thakur. We also hear Brahmaji became a devotee. So I don't know which Brahma. By the time we finish talking about him, probably another Brahma came. We don't know. A lot of Brahma even changing. We don't know. We think there is only one Brahma. In Sukdev Goswami writes, there is actually three concepts of Brahma. All the planetary system also called Brahma. Then the director of management or maintenance is also Brahma. So that person, yeah, can be also Santa Bhakta. But in now, Brahma is a position, right? It's not only person. It's a position.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah,
Yes.
anybody can take over the position. So some Brahma's concept, yes, can be Santa, sure. But some Brahma's concept also, we see Brahma cries, he did austerity in Mayapur. He wants to serve Lord Gauranga, so he cannot be Santa. He's already higher. But it's a very good question, though. Thank you. Okay, Mother Kamala Devi.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So it
Dandavat.
is amazing that which can be so bewildering in the material world, the contradiction. And here in the spiritual world, it is so sweet to listen to such a contradiction. But Prabhu, my question is that Shantarasa, you said that they are like kind of inactive, you would say. So how we are going to differentiate Shantarasa from Brahman, impersonalist Brahman, like the people who indulge in that impersonal Brahmanism? So are they similar, or how are we going to differentiate if they are different? There, Prabhu? Thank you so much. It might
If
be a
you
silly
look at
question though.
the verse, Sanatan Shiksha 19, sorry, it's a Rupa Shiksha. Sanatan is 20 chapter. 19 chapter, I remember that verse, 218, is called Santir Shabhav, the nature of Santa. It's not here in the Nectar of Devotion, but you can look at Rupa Shiksha. Mahaprabhu said this. What is Santa Shabhav? He says, Krishna Mamata Gandahin. He does not have a affection that causes possessiveness. I'm translating my way. I don't remember Prabhupada's translation, but if you have, you can read. But they have two things are very prominent. One is they do know all pervasive concept of God, Param Brahma and Paramatma. So that means they not only think of God is everything, but they don't in Bhagavad Gita 7:19, Bhavanam Janmanam Ante Gyanavan Mam Prapaddate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlava. If you look at that verse, that when you understand everything is God, there's nothing but God is actually everywhere, everything. If anybody has a Brahma Samhita, there's a beautiful verse, the last verse, 62. Last verse, Krishna himself declared. He said, I am Pradhan. Oh, I thought material nature is not Krishna. Krishna says, I am. He says, I am elements. I am Mahatatta. I am spirit. Everything you think. Krishna claimed, that is me to Brahmaji. Now, if you think like, wow, everything is Brahmaji, then what kind of bhakta is he? So Mother Pravina Devi's question was correct because this is he reveals to Brahmaji. So Brahmaji now conception is like Santa. God doesn't need anything. He has everything. He is everything. Not that he has everything. He is everything. If you look at the 62 words in Brahma Samhita, it's like surprising. You have anybody has a translation? It's like a very surprising.
I found it, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, go ahead.
One I can read it, yeah. So, translation: Listen, O Vidhi, I am the seed that is the fundamental principle of this world of animate and inanimate objects. I am Pradhana, the substance of matter. I am Prakriti, material cause. And I am Purusha, efficient cause. This fiery energy that belongs specially to the Brahman that inheres in you has also been conferred by me. It is by bearing this fiery energy that you regulate this phenomenal world of animate and inanimate objects. Hare Krishna.
Look at animate in and nothing left. He claims he is everything, even nature. Prakriti is him. Then question comes, if you look at the 7.19, you can differentiate between Santa and Dasya. Now 7.19, Bhagavad Gita, he says, Bahunam Janmanamante. Okay, Shanta Bhakta goes on many lives, I guess. Krishna didn't say how many, he says Bahunam. Plural means many lives. Bahunam Janmanamante, ante means at the end. What? Gyanavan, he understood completely. Gyanavan. Mam prapoddante. So Bahunam Janmanante now is a prapoddante. What's the difference? He became Gyanavan. If you look at these two lines, Bahunam Janmanamante and now prapoddante. But not everybody surrendered. So when they surrendered to who? Surrendered not to everything, even though God is everything, but they don't surrender to everything. This is the key point. They surrender to that personality Vasudev. From whom? That means they differentiate now. They say, yes, everything is you, but you also separately existing from everything. Oh, that is called Gyanava. Now, if somebody say, but God is everything. Yes, you are not denying it. You're not going to defeat that person. You agree. Yes, yes. Another verse in Bhagavatam, Krishna reminded, Idam hi Vishwam, Ivetaro jana. Idam hi Vishwam. Krishna says, I am this Vishwa. Wait, I thought you don't escort with material nature. That you talk when you meet Krishna. But don't argue now. When you meet Krishna, you can argue with him. My Lord, you said Idam hi Vishwam. What is this? You are this Vishwa, but you said you don't escort with Maya. Then Krishna will explain you, maybe. Or he will play with you. I don't know. This is a mystery, isn't it? Our philosophy is so wonderful. It's a very mystery. So when you surrender, that means you accept the dasya. Then the servitorship begins. So there is a fine line. Does that make sense? And if you have time, Mother, you can look at this 218, 19.20, Madhya 19.218. That what is the nature of the Santa? The nature of the Santaras. They have complete knowledge that everything sustained on impersonal Brahman. And they also localized Brahman. We call Paramatma. Localized means they also see that individual. The Lord is present in individual's heart. So that means they think, they believe, they have complete idea about all pervasive Brahman. Also is localized, not just all pervasive. Does that make sense?
Yes,
It's like
Prabhu.
a,
Yeah. Thank you so
that's-
much for clarifying that.
yeah, there's a lot of knowledge, isn't like in order to be Santa Bhakta. My gosh, that's like a big. That's why Krishna is so nice, isn't it? He says, Aham sarvasya, no, what is that? Aham, aham, aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam pravartate. Everything, I'm the source of everything, material and spiritual. That's how Prabhupada translate, I think. And everything comes from me. But then what astonishing in that verse is the last line. That one who understands this, he will serve me with bhava. Ahami sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matta bhajante mam. Buddha means he is intelligent now, same as Ganavan. Bhava, bhava samandvita means with bhava he will worship me, one who knows. So we cannot ignore knowing Krishna's all pervasiveness, localized form of Paramatma. We have to understand in order to go even higher rasa. But these are very nice, solid question. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Mother Supriya Radhika, sorry, I took your time away. Who is presenting today?
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhu, and all devotees. Today we have Shankari Kaur Mataji. She'll be presenting first.
Okay.
Yes. She is doing chapter 38. And then chapter 39 is actually Shreya Kari Mataji, but she's at work. And,
she's here.
But she said she cannot present. And she sent me the presentation. So I will be presenting on her behalf.
Okay.
So it's Mataji, Shankari Gaur Mataji, it's over to you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Just a quick question, Mataji. Krishna Manju Mataji could not present yesterday. I think she's here. So should she go first or shall I go first?
Whatever Pran Govind Prabhu says.
Oh, no. You decide, please.
Okay, then we'll ask Krishna Manju Mataji. Mataji, I can't see her. Okay, let me see. Okay. Mataji, are you ready to present today? Krishna Manju Mataji?
I think Shankari Mataji go first because my presentation, according to him, is not very executable. So go ahead, Shankari Mataji. You can present.
Mataji, yours is chapter 37. So go ahead. Hers is 38. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mataji. So, Shankari Kaur Mataji, it's up to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'll need your permission to share the screen.
Yes. Okay.
Omagyanatimidantasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaः Shri Chaitanya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Psthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Vichari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharma Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna and Dandavat Pranam to all the assembled devotees here. Today I'm going to present a chapter from Nectar of Devotion called Indifference and Separation, which comes under the Dasya Bhav. And before I begin, I seek for your blessings and mercy so that I'm able to present um, something which is useful for all of us, for especially for my purification. And I just please pray for me that I can present what Srila Prabhupada meant to present and what Srila Rupa Goswami meant to present in the same mood. So, Hare Krishna. So let's begin. Now, this chapter talks about uh, two things, indifference and separation. Now, I remember Pran Govind Prabhu mentioning that, it's good to learn about Sanskrit terminologies, because when I looked at this chapter and I read the word indifference, and when I started going through the examples that have been given here, I just could not actually relate to that until I sought out a little help from one of my god brothers, Shastrasar Prada Prabhu, as his name goes, Shastrasar Prada. So I took his help in understanding as to how these are in indifference. And actually, indifference in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is utkanthitam. Utkantha, that's where the word comes from. And so, when we put that in perspective, then all the examples become very, very relevant. And that's why I thought that, that's the gap in the language that we have. Like Sanskrit is such a scientific language. It has so much nuances and subtleties when it describes different feelings and different aspects of anything, not only bhakti, but everything, all the bhavas that we have. And then English really does not quite do the justification, but still we'll go with that. But yes, indifference is utkantitam. And let's first begin with the definition as to what is utkantitam. The desire to see the Lord when the devotees had not seen him at all is called utkantitam or ayoga. So this bhava is experienced by those devotees in Dasya Ras who have not yet seen Krishna, or who have not met him. So here then we have two examples of Utkantitam. King Ikshwaku, because of his extreme attachment to the Lord, developed great rati for the black cloud because of its color, the Krishna Sar deer because of its name, and the lotus which resembled Krishna's eyes. This example has been taken from Narsimha Puran. And so here we see that for King Ikshwaku, his rati for three different articles that are there, they act as an uddipan for him to experience that rasa that he's experiencing, the color of the black cloud, and then the name of the deer because it is called Krishnasar, and the lotus because Krishna is lotus-eyed. We most of we always called Krishna, Nama Pankaj Nabhaya Namah Pankaj. I'm not able, little nervous to say that verse, but yes, in that verse, King Kunti, how she beautifully describes each and every limb of Krishna as a lotus petaled one. So yeah, that's one example here. Another example of Utkantitam is when a Krura is going to get Krishna to Mathura. And I remember listening to this class where Prabhu was asking that, Mathura to Vrindavan, how far it is. Yes, today we have trains and buses and other means of transportation, so it gets us there in just 2 hours maybe. But even in a chariot, how long would it take? But it took Akrura the whole day to reach from Mathura to Vrindavan, because he was constantly losing his way because he was so absorbed in thinking about Krishna and he was going to personally meet. And when we know that when he reached Vrindavan, he saw the footprints of Krishna, and his anxiety to see Krishna rose even more. So here, Krishna's footprint actually acted as the uddipan for his utkantha to meet Krishna, and then he rolls on the ground, and those were the bhavas, the sattvic bhavas that he was exhibiting. So these are the two examples of utkantitam. Now, there are different kinds of utkantitam. in Nectar of Devotion, there are 8 prominent types of utkantitam, which is autsukya, which is impatience, dainyam, lowness, nirveda, self-deprecation. That means where the devotee wants to, say, oh, this should, basically it's self-destruction. That's the mood, self-destruction. Chinta, which is pondering. Chapalata, which is insolence or impudence. Jadata, inability to make decisions. Unmad, insanity. And moha, which is blank mind or fainting. So we will take example of each type. In Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami talks about, he gives an example. Oh Krishna, you are an ocean of nectar for the eyes. Not having the pleasure of seeing your 2 lotus feet, I am disturbed and my mind cannot find any happiness. A moment seems like many years. This is a secret letter written by Uddhava in Mathura to Krishna in Vraj. So this point over here, a moment seems like many years. This shows the impatience that the devotee in Dasya Ras becomes so impatient to see Krishna that it becomes very difficult for the devotee to even pass a second. And in material world also, we have that kind of a feeling, not a very alien bhava, I would say, not to experience. So we all have that experience, and this is how Autsukya makes a devotee feel. And then comes Dainyam. O slayer of Agha, even Shiva cannot see you, but I am more insignificant than an insect and full of sinful acts. Though I am unqualified for prayer, I'm still praying, O friend of the fallen, that you bathe me with your glance. And so lowness, I think it's a very prominent it's a very prominent bhav that we see in our acharyas as well. Reminds me of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami when he says that, what qualities do I possess even to write anything about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And we all know what he said, but that's just his humility, and that's the feeling that that's his dainyam. And this is one of the prominent traits that is found in those who are in Dasya Bhav. And it's very prominent among devotees. Then comes Nirveda, self-deprecation. Though my eyes are praised because of seeing so many scriptures, they are unfortunate because they do not see the wealth of sweetness in the form of the effulgence coming from the toenails of your lotus feet. Let those eyes be destroyed. This statement basically brings out that self-deprecation mood in Uddhava. This is a message from Uddhava written to Krishna. So this is where the what's the use of these eyes when I cannot see Krishna? What's the use of these hands when I cannot serve him? What's the use of these legs when I cannot go visit him? And feelings like that, when the feeling of self-destruction becomes prominent. So that's Nirveda. Next is Chinta, which is pondering. I spend my nights expelling sighs of grief with bowed head, thinking myself unqualified for seeing the lotus feet of the Lord, though I have such longing to see him. So here, the devotee in Dasya Rasa is feeling that I understand I'm unqualified. So will it ever be possible for me to see Krishna? That's the chinta. That's the concern that the devotee has, because the devotee feels himself or herself completely unqualified to see Krishna face to face, or to meet Krishna. And so he's thinking, do I have any quality by which Krishna would actually grant his audience to me? So this bhav is called chinta, pondering. Next comes chapalata. You know that which is insolence. Basically here, insolence means that I understand that I'm unqualified, yet I am open in my desire to see you. So that's insolence. You know that your sweet youth astonishes all 3 worlds. Thus, you and I can understand my insolence arising from my desire to see you. give me some instruction. What should I do to see your rare lotus face with the attractive flute? This example has been taken from Krishna Karnamrita by Bilva Mangal Thakur, and he's saying this, that I understand I'm unqualified, yet I openly declare that I want to see you. I have this desire. Now you tell me, what am I supposed to do? So that's insolence. Though I understand that I'm not qualified, yet I declare openly that I want to see you. Next is Jarata, inability to make decisions. From the very beginning of his childhood, Prahlad Maharaj was uninterested in childish playthings. Indeed, he gave them up altogether and remained silent and dull, being fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Since his mind was always affected by Krishna consciousness, he could not understand how the world goes on being fully absorbed in the activities of sense gratification. So this example has been quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, taken from Srimad Bhagavatam 7.437. And Jadata, generally we associate a small child with a lot of playful activities. A child just cannot sit at one place quietly and meditate. That's impossible. Even grown-ups cannot do that. But here we see the example of Prahlad Maharaj, who's very capable of doing that. And he looks like a dull boy, a dull child, but he's internally completely absorbed in his meditation on Krishna. He's already in samadhi, and then he actually inside is bewildered to see the outer world doing things that that is totally for sense gratification. He's not understanding how people go on living a life like that. So this appearance of him, that he's being a child and not participating in activities appropriate for his age, that's Jadata. So Prahlad Maharaj is a good example of that. Then comes Unmad, which is translated as insanity. Sometimes, upon seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prahlad Maharaj would loudly call in full anxiety. He sometimes lost his shyness in jubilation and began dancing in ecstasy, and sometimes, being fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, he felt oneness and imitated the pastimes of the Lord. This is again taken from Srimad Bhagavatam 7.440. So here, basically, when the devotee is overcome by the feeling of anxiety to meet the Lord, it just goes on. It loses its equilibrium. It loses its power to discriminate what is right, what is wrong. And that's again a part of ecstasy. And, they start dancing, and we've heard this, sometimes laughing, sometimes crying, sometimes dancing. Looks like a madman's activities. So that's unmad, but it's coming purely from the ecstasy. It's coming from the apprehension of seeing the Lord. Then comes moha, which is blank mind or fainting. So here the example is given. O Brahmana, thinking himself unqualified for seeing the Lord, Prahlad grieved because he could not attain him. Drowned in an ocean of intense suffering, tears flowing from his eyes, he fainted. This example has been taken from Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya. And then we again see the example of Prahlad Maharaj. He's going through so many different emotions in the same bhava. So, then he again feels that, oh, I'm so unqualified that I'll probably never be able to attain Krishna. And then he feels so morose that he cries and he even faints. And so this fainting, this is also the sign of ecstasy. It's a sign of his feeling the separation from the Lord. And the utkantitam, to meet, and of course, to be very specific, they have not attained Lord yet. Now we come to the next part of this chapter, which is separation. Now, what is separation? The separation is when one attains the association of the Lord and then becomes separated from him. That separation is called viyoga. So indifference or utkantitam that we heard about, that is ayoga. That is the situation when the devotee has not seen Krishna. But here in separation, the devotee has had some association before, but now they are separated from Krishna, and these are the so that's called separation. And an example of viyoga is when Krishna went to Shonitapur to cut off the arms of Bana, the son of Bali, Uddhav's mind became overcome with separation. His intelligence was shaken because of suffering, and he became devoid of bliss. This is taken from Narsimha Puran. So yes, example of Viyoga. If we really don't need too many examples, because we are all aware that what happened to the gopis when Krishna left Vrindavan, what happened to Mother Yashoda and Nand Maharaj when Krishna left Mathura, so left for Mathura. So those are the examples of Viyoga. But here we see that even when Krishna leaves Dwarka, his associates in Dwarka also feel separation from him, because they've had association and now they are feeling the absence of the Lord. Now, there are different kind of conditions that arise in Viyoga. There are 10 prominent conditions that have been discussed in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So these are the 10 conditions, and we are going to look into example of each one of those. Tapaha, which is heat in the body. So this statement is from Uddhav to Narad. O best of sages, the lotus, though it reminds us of your eyes, will give us pain because it is the friend of the sun. And the ocean, though it reminds us of your complexion, gives us pain because it is dominated by the Vardaba fire. But why does the blue lotus, friend of the moon, endeavor, that's what Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Devotion, making us remember the Lord, also cause us burning pain. So basically, these are again the Uddipan, looking at the lotus flower reminds Uddhava, it is the friend of the sun. And so because a lotus opens up when the sun rises, it's a morning flower, and the lotus reminds Uddhav of Krishna's eyes. So when he looks at the lotus, he's reminded of Krishna, and he feels, oh, Krishna is not with me, and he's pained. And then the ocean reminds Krishna of his complexion, the bluish complexion. I can say that because Atlantic is pretty dark in complexion. I don't know about other oceans, but yes, Atlantic is a dark ocean, and it reminds Uddhav again of the complexion, and again that acts as an uddipan. And then Uddhav is reminded of Krishna, and he feels, oh, Krishna is not with me, and he feels the pain. And the blue lotus flower that blooms at night, that again is the cause of pain for Uddhava, because lotus flower, again, the color of it, the petals, the shape of the eyes, everything together again reminds Uddhava of Krishna. And when he realizes that Krishna is not with him, the feeling of separation is very, very high, and then his body heats up. That's the sattvic vikar that we see in him, that happens, that arises because of the intensification of this separation that he's feeling. Next comes krishata, which is thinness. This is again the body, physical transformation. O friend of the Pandavas, the arms of all your servants have become thin and pale in separation from you. The swans have come down thinking that those arms are stems of the water lily. So it is said that when Krishna was not in Dwarka, some of the devotees were they went to see Krishna, and of course some could not go because they had to attend to the chores, the daily chores. And so when those servants who met Krishna, they see that those servants who have been separated from you for so long, they are undergoing these bodily transformation. They have become so thin and they have become so pale. And of course there is a little exaggeration here, that the swans have come down thinking that those arms are stems of the water lily. We can understand that the stems of water lily are really like a straw, maximum we can say maybe a smoothie straw, which is a jumbo straw. But yeah, yes, the idea of exaggeration is definitely there, but really it only heightens the mood of the devotee. It really heightens the feeling that they are going through when these kind of exaggerated hyperboles or similes are given. So it's just appropriate to show how much separation they are feeling. Next come Jagarya. In separation, the the devotees also get insomnia. They don't sleep for nights together. And here is an example. King Bahulashwa, in long separation from Krishna, became distressed in body and mind. Many of his nights gave up their pleasurable nature of sleep. Generally, sleep is very, very dear to us. We all need sleep in some degree, and it's pleasurable. It's needed. It's needed, but then we all are, at least I am, pretty attached to sleeping. But when the fire of separation burns in the heart of a devotee, he forgets about everything. He gives up even sleeping at night, and he or she can spend nights together not sleeping. So the example of King Bahulashwa has been mentioned in um, uh, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Then comes avalambana shunyata, instability of mind. I do not have other family in the three worlds except Krishna, the charioteer of Arjun. Not seeing his lotus feet, my mind wanders about, not being fixed anywhere. This is a statement made by Yudhishthir. So when Yudhishthir Maharaj is feeling separation from Krishna, his mind is very unstable. He's just thinking about, oh, how can I get his association back? He's thinking about basically he's not able to fix his mind in doing anything, and he's just thinking about Krishna all the time. So that is called avalamban shunyata. When his when the anchor of his life is not there, he's like, just it's like a boat. If we leave a boat in the middle of an ocean, it'll just go here and there, not in a fixed direction, if the captain of the boat is not there. So right now, that's how Yudhishthir Maharaj is feeling, a boat without a captain to steer him in its direction. And so he doesn't know what to do, cannot fix his mind on anything else. Then comes adriti, lack of interest in anything, or detachment. That's the term that has again been used in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, detachment. So this example has been taken from Krishna Karnamrita. O Murari, in separation from you, your servant Raktaka, devoted to your lotus feet, closed his eyes on seeing a peacock feather. He's given up all the attractive cows and has no desire to take up his herding stick. So here, when a devotee in Dasya Ras is so much overcome by the feeling of separation, they give up their duties also. They are not even attached to their duties. We have an example of Raktaka over here, a servant from Vrindavan. His job is to do cow herding, and he's so detached. He's just so overcome with the feeling of separation that he does not even want to tend to cows. He does not want to herd them. He does not want to look at a peacock feather, because that reminds him of Krishna, and that it just multiplies that a feeling of separation that he's already feeling. So detachment also comes. They don't want to do anything, because they are so overcome by the feeling of separation from Krishna. Then comes jadata. This is a common bhav that we saw. It happens in utkantitam also, and it happens in separation or viyoga also. Here is the example. When Krishna went to Indraprastha, Uddhav, disturbed by grief, became wet with tears and perspiration and ceased to move at all. So when a devotee is overcome by intense feeling of separation, it may happen that they become stunned, they become stabdha. They just they cannot move. They become totally inert, because they are so much aggrieved by the mood of separation. And we've seen examples of Uddhava in so many different bhavas that we've seen. So yeah, he's again experiencing all these bhavas. Then comes vyadhi, sickness. When Krishna went to find the Shamantaka jewel and was absent for a long time, Uddhav became afflicted with a new sickness out of separation, and thus was appropriately called Pavana Vyadhi, he who was afflicted by wind disease. So this is another way, another form of showing the separation or showing that how intensely the devotee is afflicted by the feeling of separation. They develop some kind of a disease. That's the sattvic vikar that they undergo. And Uddhav, he was struck by this new disease called Pavana Vyadhi. He was afflicted by the wind disease, and it's pretty easy to relate to this bhav. Uh, Developing sickness. It reminds me of my aunt. I'm just bringing it because it just reminded me of that incident. My aunt, she lost her son who was 42. He died because of cancer, and my aunt was so aggrieved, and we all can understand how painful it is for a mother to see the child pass away while she is around. And we saw her, how after his departure she just started getting more and more sick. She got Alzheimer's, and she left her body within a few years. So yeah, that's the example of developing sickness because of separation. So it happens. It's a feeling that does happen. Moving on, then we have unmad, insanity. Again, a common a feeling that we saw in Ayoga or Utkantitam also. Here is the example. When his personal deity went away, Uddhav becomes confused in mind. Look, seeing a fresh cloud on Raivata mountain, he's praising it, frolicking about, and offering his respects to it. Again, the Uddipan is the fresh cloud because of its complexion. Uddhava thinks that, oh, that's Krishna. And then, he goes on praising this cloud, and he goes on playing with it and offering respects for it, because he's so overcome by the feeling of separation that whatever little Uddipan he gets, he feels that, okay, that's Krishna, that's Krishna. He's so impatient to get Krishna's association again. Next one is moha or murchitam, which is fainting. Again, a bhav that we saw in Ayoga also. Here is the example. O best of the Yadus, those who were serving your lotus feet got no sleep when you were in Vraj, because of course Krishna was there and they were so delighted. In separation from you, they had reached a similar state, because now they are so sad, they just cannot sleep. They are so struck with grief and moroseness. But now, by their slight breathing, it is questionable whether they are living or not. With unconscious bodies, they lie on the bank of the Yamuna. So, yes, they were not able to sleep. That's one state, insomnia. But now the fire of separation has become so blazing that now they have come to the point of murchitam, where their body looks like a dead body, and their breathing is so faint that it looks like that any time they will leave their body. So this is how this is the vikar that is shown by the devotees in Dasya Rasa in Vrindavan. And then we have the last one. This is the 10th symptom that we have, mriti, which is death-like symptoms. Here is the example. O killer of demons, you are their very life. Since you departed so suddenly from Vraja, the lotuses of their hearts and the lakes of their bodies have been dried up by the fire of separation. The swans of their life heirs, being unhappy in that situation, no longer desire to live there. So again, we are seeing the degree in which the residents of Vrindavan are feeling the separation, especially those who are in Dasyaras. That's what we are reading about. And so they are so morose, they are so unhappy, they are so distressed that they just don't want to stay. They just don't want to maintain their lives anymore, because they think it's useless. Without Krishna, everything is useless for them. However, just this is what is mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that death is not possible for the devotees in Vrindavan, because death is associated with inauspiciousness. So that's why it is this situation is called mriti. It's death like symptoms, but really they don't die. But here in the material world, death happens, as I was saying. And again, that was not even the example that I was giving. My aunt, she left her body in separation from her son. But that's a very mundane example. That is what is, it's material world. Everything is opposite here. But in Vrindavan, it doesn't happen. The devotees who are feeling this separation, they reach the death-like symptoms, but they really don't leave their body. So I just thought that this is a good point to understand that they exhibit death-like symptoms. And that was the last slide for me. That was the last bhav. Thank you so very much. Please pardon me for all the mistakes. I'm absolutely unqualified to present anything here. I tried whatever I could, so thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, are you there?
Yeah.
Mataji, that was such a wonderful presentation. It was so beautiful. It was so clear. Wow, amazing. Yeah, Prabhu is back. Thank you so much, Mataji.
That was very well presented. I think devotee might want to see it more. So if you can post for them, will be highly appreciated. And who is coming, Mother, next? Oh, Srekori Mataji. You're going to
Krishna.
present.
Krishna Manju Mataji said she wanted to present after Shankari Kaur Mataji. So, Mataji, would you like to present? I can't see her. Is she here?
Yes, I am here, Mataji, but
Yes, there
I
you are.
think I'm totally unqualified to present. I heard all these Shankari Prabhu presentation, and I cannot able to speak anything about anything. So go ahead, next one. I just want to listen. I am not qualified to present anything.
Prabhu, what do you say?
You have her PPT, you can give it to everybody. They can look at it. And in the meantime, we can continue with your other presentation and then see at the end. In the meantime, they can.
Mother Shreyakari, should I present or you'll be able to? I think she is working.
Okay, go ahead. She's listening.
Okay. Okay. Can anyone see this?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumritamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Okay, thank you, Govindra Prabhu, Shreyakari Mataji also for giving me this opportunity to present. Completely all credit goes to her. She's done such a wonderful presentation. I hope I'm able to do justice and present it the way she has so beautifully presented. So, how do I close this? Just a minute, Prabhu. Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, so, yeah. So this is chapter 39, and this is ways of meeting Krishna. So now in the previous chapter which Mother Shankari had presented, Srila Rupa Goswami has completed his description of the reverential servitude, Dasya, in separation, yoga. And here he is beginning his description of servitude, reverential servitude in yoga, in meeting. So, okay. Okay, here we go. So the ways of meeting Krishna. So there is yoga. The meeting is technically called yoga, or linking up with the Lord. There is elaboration from the next slides. Then there is perfection, satisfaction, steadiness, siddhi, tushti, and sthiti, which will be elaborated. And there's attainment of yoga, bhakti yoga, symptoms of love of Godhead, reverential devotion, and the Sudharma hall. So, all right. So the meaning of yoga is, yoga means to link oneself with God, with Krishna, by concentrating the mind on Him and controlling the ever-disturbing senses. By the practice of yoga, one gradually becomes free from materialistic attachments. So this is also one way to check yourself of whether you are gradually becoming free from materialistic attachments. So the linking up with the Lord is the key word here. So now perfection or siddhi. So siddhi is in Utkantitva, the devotee longs to meet Krishna for the first time. So siddhi, perfection, occurs when he finally meets Krishna. So here the example is given. So in Krishna Karnamrit, Bilvamangala Thakur describes how Krishna meets his devotee with peacock feather on his head, with markata jewels on his chest, and with his ever enchanting smile, his restless eyes, and his very delicate body. And instances of perfectional meeting is in the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam 38, chapter verse 34. Shukadeva Goswami tells King Parikshit, "My dear king, as soon as Akrura, the chariot driver, saw Lord Krishna and his elder brother Balaram in Vrindavan, Akrura was overwhelmed with affection. He quickly jumped down, fell from his chariot, and fell at the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram like a rod." So this illustrates Siddhi, perfectional meeting, because it is the first time Akrura was meeting Krishna. Then to go further, the next one is satisfaction, meeting and satisfaction. So tushti. Tushti basically means in viyog, in separation. When a devotee meets Krishna after a long separation, the meeting is one of satisfaction. So in viyog, the devotee suffers from Krishna's absence, and when the Lord finally returns, the devotee experiences this tushti. So in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 11th chapter verse 10, it is stated that when Lord Krishna returned to his capital, Dwarka, from Hastinapur, the inhabitants said, "Dear Lord, if you remain in foreign countries for so long, we shall certainly be bereft of seeing your smiling face. Upon observing your face, we, your eternal servitors, become greatly satisfied." So this illustrates the tushti because it is reunion with Krishna. All the anxieties of our existence are immediately mitigated. If we cannot see you because you are long absent from Dwarka, then it will be impossible for us to live anymore. This is an instance of satisfaction in meeting after long separation. Upon hearing their speeches, the Lord, who is very kind to the citizens and devotees, entered the city of Dwarka and acknowledged all their greetings by casting his transcendental glance over them. and Krishna's personal servant. So when Krishna returned to Dwarka out of ecstasy, his personal servant, Daruka, seeing Krishna at the door of Dwarka, he forgot to offer him respects with folded hands. So this is another example of tushti. So it says question here, but I'm not sure what that is. So I'll leave that. And then is steadiness. Steadiness is sthiti. When a devotee is ultimately situated in association with Krishna, his position is called steadiness in devotional service. This occurs when the meeting with Krishna is steady and constant, not prefaced by any type of separation. So this steady position in devotional service is explained in the book known as Hamsaduta. So Srila Rupa Goswami illustrates this from such an example. So this book Hamsaduta describes how Srimati Radharani feels faint in separation from Krishna. So her dear friend Lalita Devi hurries to the Jamuna for fresh water. Arriving there, she sees a very beautiful swan traveling downstream towards Mathura, which was now Krishna's now newfound home. And she asked the swan to take a message to Krishna, informing him of Srimati Radharani's plight. But the swan wants to know how to recognize Krishna. So Lalita Devi is describing to the swan that, oh, Krishna, he is always surrounded by certain devotees. For example, he is he has Akrura who would be talking to the Lord, and Uddhav who would be massaging his feet. So thus Hamsaduta shows Akrura and Uddhav as examples of devotees enjoying sthiti, constant association. So Uddhava, he is always massaging the lotus feet and kneeling down on the ground before him. So there is constant association. So now the attainment of yoga. When a devotee is engaged in the service of the Lord, he is said to have reached the attainment of yoga. The English equivalent of the word yoga is linking up. So actual linking up with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, begins when this devotee renders service unto him. Devotees situated in the transcendental rasa of servitorship render their particular service whenever there is an opportunity. So there are two anubhavas. Srila Prabhupada mentions two anubhavas. That is, one is devotee situated when they render a particular service whenever there is an opportunity. And the second one is when they sit in front of Krishna and they receive orders. So these are the two anubhavas. So some persons are reluctant to accept the level of devotional service as actual bhakti yoga. And in some of the Puranas, also this servitorship in devotional service to Krishna is not accepted as the actual bhakti yoga system. But Srimad Bhagavatam has clearly indicated that the servitor relationship with Krishna is the actual beginning of yoga realization. Okay. So Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti means devotion or devotional service or pure love. So Bhakti Yoga means to practice connecting with God and re-establishing our relationship with Him through acts of love and service or devotional service. So in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, verse 32, it is stated that when devotees are engaged in the discharge of Bhakti Yoga, sometimes they cry from thinking of Krishna, sometimes they laugh, sometimes they become jubilant, and sometimes they talk in very uncommon ways. Okay, just one second. Yeah. So sometimes they dance, sometimes they sing, sometimes they actually engaged in service of the Lord, and sometimes they sit down silently as if absorbed in trance. So here Rupa Goswami talks about two moods. One is Sambhrama Preeti and other is Gaurava Preeti. So Srila Rupa Goswami says that in Gaurav Preeti is more intimate than Sambhrama Preeti, because in Gaurav Preeti the devotee sees Krishna as his personal protector and as a maintainer like a parent. So I think that comes later. Okay, let's Bhakti Yoga, the symptoms of love of Godhead. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained the symptoms of love of Godhead. Rudanti, the devotees cry, thinking, another day has passed and still I could not obtain Krishna. Then where will I go? What will I do? Where will I go? From whom shall I inquire? And who can I possibly help me? Who could possibly help me reach Krishna? That's Rudanti is crying. Hasanti is laughing. It is late at night, the sky is dark, and Krishna is determined to steal from the house of one of the elderly gopis. So he's hiding underneath the tree in the corner of the courtyard, belonging to one of the cowherd men. And although Krishna thinks that he's completely concealed, he suddenly hears the voice of one elderly member of the family. Who are you? Who's there? Who are you? I say. And thus Krishna has been caught, and he begins to flee the courtyard. When this humorous scene is revealed to the devotee begins to laugh heartily. And Nandanti, when Krishna actually reveals his transcendental form to the devotee experiences the highest transcendental bliss. And Vadanti, the devotee says to the Lord, O Krishna, after so many days I have finally achieved you. So these are the four symptoms stated by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Reverential devotion, when one is substantially convinced that he is always protected by Krishna in all circumstances, that feeling is called reverential devotion. So that is what is Gaurav Preeti, where the devotee in this mood feels utterly dependent on Krishna's mercy, like a son feels dependent on the mercy of the father. And indeed, often the Gaurav Preeti devotee is one of Krishna's sons. So in the process of surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are 6 items. And this is what even Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions. To accept everything favorable is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Anukulena sankalpa pratikulya varchanam. So to accept everything favorable for devotional service, to reject everything unfavorable for devotional service, avashya rakshibe Krishna, to believe that Krishna will always give protection, to identify oneself with Krishna's devotees, always to feel inability without the help of Krishna, and always to think oneself inferior to Krishna. So even though one may have full capacity to perform something on his own, when one is substantially convinced that he is always protected by Krishna in all circumstances, that feeling is called reverential devotion. Reverential devotion is executed in relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and with his other protected devotees. So the Sudharma hall, so this is Vibhav, is Vishaya Alambana, Krishna as a stimulus for familial servitude. So the specific significance of the assembly house, Sudharma, was that anyone who entered it would be freed from the 6 kinds of material pangs, namely hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age, and death. So when Krishna was residing in Dwarka, some of the elderly members of the Yadu family would occasionally put some important matter before him. And then at such a time, Krishna would carefully give attention to those matters. And if there was some humorous topics mentioned, Krishna would immediately respond with a smiling face. Sometimes when Krishna was executing his duties in the assembly known as Sudharma, he would ask the elderly members for good advice. By such activities, he is manifest as the supreme spiritual master, the supreme executive head, the superior intelligence, and the supreme power, protector, and maintainer. So these are Krishna's qualities. So Krishna's form and Krishna's qualities. And that's it. Thank you to Shreyakari Mataji for such a wonderful presentation. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much, Mataji. I hope I did some justice to it, but thank you for the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Wonderful. Both presentation is very competitive, but satisfactory. Okay. We have one more, right? Or two more?
No, Prabhu. That's only tomorrow now.
Oh, we're done for today?
Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
Tomorrow will be what chapter?
40 and 41. 40, 41, and 42. 1 minute. 3, I think we have 3 tomorrow. Yeah.
40, 41, 42.
Yes.
And then you're doing 43, 44.
Oh, no, no, Prabhu. Actually, we'll have only 2 tomorrow because Samyukta Mataji is unwell and she has requested that she can present only next week, not day after also. She's requested for next week. So we will only have 40 and 42 tomorrow.
All right, that's wonderful. Any question anyone has? Mother Seyakari Devi is here. She's listening, but she muted herself because she's working probably. Mother Sankari Devi is here. So anybody has any question on this too? On Dasya Rasa? First of all, it's a very vast subject on Dasya Rasa. Dasya Rasa 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. It's interesting. Rupa Goswami Pad gave 5 chapters that Prabhupada translated. And Shrikarash is only 2. Vatsalarash is only 1. And Madhurash goes on for 1. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So Krishna Manju Mataji would present most probably on Friday. We're going to work together on her presentation and then we're going to bring it up to the point where she can explain her PPTs. So
that will be good. That will be nice. We help each other to learn. That's how we grow.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yeah. No question on Dasya Rasa? Everybody understood? All these qualities that we manifested, what are those qualities? How many types of Dasya Rasa is there?
11.
11. I never heard that. Something new. 11 types of Dasya Rasa. Where did you get that? It's not in book Rupa Goswami's, but maybe somewhere else. Even the post the thumb drive, the banner that I posted, it gives clear two types. One is Sambrahma Prita, one is Gaurava Prita. And both presentation define very nicely that one is like father with the son, how the son feels. I'm sure majority parents can relate to that. How the son feels, how Pradyumna feels with Krishna, because Pradyumna is Krishna's son. That's how Rupa Goswami Pad takes the drawing and trying to give us some clue. Because when you see all this lila, who is acting which way, why? For an example, say Krishna is tired. Is Krishna really tired? His body gets tired? No. But the love of Dasya Bhakta amongst the Shikharas, there are Dasya Shikha, Shikha Shikha, Vatsula Shikha. It's difficult to comprehend. It's just the mood. It's beautiful, actually. If you just, I mean, only way I remember, because we talked about it many years back, so much details. I still remember a lot of things. That why Mother Jashoda tells Balaram, I don't want him to go anywhere without you guiding him. So Balaram always goes with a stick in his hand, and Krishna follows, because every day they explore in a new forest. How many forests are there? Unlimited. There will be new. Yogamaya will create. It's just a short potency. It's Krishna, Baladev. So Balaram will go, wait, Krishna, don't go. Make sure everything is safe. So he goes with the stick, and Balaram types of like Madhumangal little bit, like many. You can actually separate, like there are some Vatsulla mixed with Dasya. Vatsulla mixed with Shikha. Dasya mixed with Shikha. But first we are precisely focusing on each category, and then you can see the mix. But they are always mixed. I mean, majority. So, because somebody took birth few moments before Krishna, they have Vatsulara tainted. No, they are not took birth before causes this. No, their feeling causes them to take birth few minutes before Krishna. Because of their feeling. Everything is wonderfully arranged by Yogamaya. So Balaram always will take birth before Krishna, because he always kind of like, I have to take care of my younger brother. This feeling is there. But then there are some who takes birth after Krishna, because they are maybe going from the Zoom, Texas, America, to a new universe where Krishna is performing Leela. They will enter there in Vrindavan, and then he will take birth from the womb of a Gopi mother in Vrindavan, just after Krishna. So then Krishna is wrestling. Those devotees automatically feeling is, because they have a little dasya mixed, but they're Shikha. He's wrestling for so long. This feeling that they feel like he's wrestling, he needs some help, some service to be done. Immediately perspiration appears in his Krishna's body, even though he doesn't have a vein and hole in the body. but perspiration pops. And then automatically the Dasya Bhakta will make a bed out of palash leaves, big leaves, and it's very soft, better than what they call Tempur-Pedic mattress or whatever it is. It's called $3,800 mattress. I say I don't need it. That money can go to temple. So it's very interesting. So then, but they literally make better than Tempur-Pedic mattresses. Then Krishna feels, okay, I'm going to lie down. Then there will be another Shukha Ras who are tainted with girls like Madhur Ras. They will sing song. In Basra and Leela, how did you steal the clothes of the gopis? And they were like completely shy and they surrendered to you. And then Krishna closes his eye and he goes to sleep. Really? Krishna goes to sleep? No, Krishna doesn't go to sleep. But to relish, Krishna definitely closes his eye and appear like he is sleeping. And he does. Reciprocation. The whole Leela is nothing but Leela, Rasha exchange. But more we understand this Rasha's individuality, individual elements, how it acts, then we can relate and you can actually sit down with your Japamala and just meditate on one pastime and you'll not even remember that how these few days pass by until somebody comes and knock the door of you like, Haribol, are you okay? He said, yeah. I didn't see you for 2 days. 2 days. This happened to few devotees. One devotee was hiding in a cave of Govardhan for how long? 5,000 years. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told to Nityananda Prabhu, Abhiram, Abhiram, where is Abhiram? Nityananda Prabhu said, Abhiram? Who is Abhiram? The Sridham. Nityananda Prabhu said, oh my God, he didn't even got out of that hide and seek game in Dapur Juga. He was just sitting there for a few moments, but it happened to be 5,000 years passed by. Then you can relate all those pastimes. Even Nityananda Prabhu comes. Sridham, where are you? Sridham comes out of the cave. I was just hiding and waiting for you to find. Wait a minute, who are you? So I'm Balai. You're not Balai. You look different. Because he's Nityananda Prabhu. Yes, it is Balaram, but he doesn't look like Balaram. So I am Balai. How is that you Balai? Let me check. So they have a race. Who can run faster in 28 miles circumambulation of Govardhan Hill? They went so fast, every time, few moments, full circle goes by, he sees this boy Balai, or who claims as a Balai, is right next to him. Because no boys can run as fast as Balaram with Abhiram. Every boys has a particular relationship. When we come to Sakkoras, we can discuss that. But just to give this idea, that then he reveals. So the point is, 5,000 years passed by or it was a few moments. You can figure it out. I just love the thinking of both sides. Yes, it is 5,000 years and it was a few moments. It's okay. Both are correct. Because Nimeshana Ardhaka, that verse, Sriyakanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpatarobo Dhruma Bhumis Chintamani Ganamai Tayamritam Kataganam Naitam Gamanam Api Bangsi Priya Saki Chidananda Jyoti Paramamapi Tadashadhamapi. So in that sloka, very nicely explained that the time never passes. It's always present. There is no past and future. It's always present. This is beautiful. But we will be relishing if we are fully aware of each category. So Dasharas are two types. One is by the their relationship, how they feel with their reverence and submission, like a servant feels towards the master, and another one is son towards father. And then submission to the master divided into four categories: Adhikrita Das, Ashrita Das, Parishad Das, Anuga Das. And the last two one, Parishad and Anugas, they are three categories: Dhurja, Dhira, and Bira. So this should be meditated. Why not? Can't you remember? There are two types of Dasya. And one Dasya, Sambram and Visrambena. Visrambena, you accept initiation. Who is the highest form of disciple amongst all disciples? One who knows the mind, mentality of Guru. Before even Guru asks, is already creating this atmosphere. Preaching or whatever it is. They know the mentality of Guru. They meditate on it. These are nice. They are very top quality disciple. Similarly, Shambram Prita is a similar servitor. But there are some categories are there. Categories like a Parishad. Parishad, like Nanda Sunanda. They are like guards. They are guarding. Nanda Maharaj is actually expand as a Nanda Sunanda. They are security guard. They come into this Dasya Rasa, even though Nanda Maharaj is in Vatsalya Rasa. Then you have a demigods in this material world. Is there a demigods in the spiritual world? Yes, there's demigods also in the spiritual world. But they are not demigod of this world. They are Krishna himself expand to create the lila. Is there a day and night in spiritual world? Yes and no. In Vaikuntha, there is no day and night. Self-effulgent, everything. You don't have to be hungry. You don't have to sleep. Nobody wakes up, because if you don't go to sleep, how will you wake up? So everything is self-effulgent, is beautiful. That's why Santa Bhakta, you're talking about billions and trillions are there. They just meditate. They just love seeing Krishna in their heart, and they just go on and on and on. Eternally, they live like that. But once in a while, they may feel little disturbed, even though there is no disturbance. Kunta means disturbance. Because they have a different rasa. They want. So they may feel disturbed and they think like, when God is going to come? They see the God in their heart, but they want to. Then they promote themselves to. Then they go to another planet. Oh, God is coming. When? Next week. Oh, they have a week and days are calculated there. Now, God coming next week. Okay, big lined up. God came by, going in a big procession on the elephant, riding. And some devotee may feel like, I want to be with him. I don't want to just meditate. I want to be with him. Generally not. But those are higher rasa, they will feel disturbed. So there is also dynamism. Always somebody is disturbed. Means they have to go further, higher, higher, higher. I hope you all got scared that from Vaikuntha there is no road to Golok Vrindavan. You have to come to this material world to perfect your journey. In Gop Kumar's story we see from Mahavaikunta he had to come to Vrindavan, and Guru Krishna had to come as a Jayanta. Then from this Vrindavan he went to Golok Vrindavan. So like this, why I'm trying to scare you? So that you prepare in one life with intensity and go to the highest stream. No need to keep going, coming, going, coming. I mean, it's okay if you want to do that. I'm not pressuring. But it will be nice if we just focus on Golok. That's why the Rasha Tattva is most important. These Rasha Tattva are not so much relevant in Vaikuntha. If you look at it very deeply, you'll see even, Parisha, Dhira, Durja, Bhira, these are not really so much in Vaikuntha at all. It's in Mahavaikuntha some, mostly in Krishna Loka. Krishna Loka has a 3 division. So in Krishna Loka, these things are there, not in Vaikuntha. Okay. No question, then we can close. Looking forward to see you all tomorrow.
Yes, before you go, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So I'm presenting chapter 40 tomorrow.
Mother Supriya Radhika knows, I'm sure. Yes, Prabhu. I think.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so it's entitled Reverential Devotion of Sons and Other Subordinates. Is that the correct title?
Just checking, Prabhu, 1 minute.
Reverend Shiel here is 40.
Yes, yours is 40, right, Thakur? Reverential devotion of sons and other subordinates.
Yes.
Yes, that's the one. Yes, you're right.
Okay. Okay. And so
Thank you.
I was doing some checking to see what what I could find on the other references. So I present what I find tomorrow.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
Wonderful. Any other question, comment, takeaway? Yes, Mother Sankari.
Prabhu, you mentioned Mahavaikuntha. What is Mahavaikuntha? What's the difference
Ayodhya,
between? Oh, okay. Okay.
Kurukshetra. There is Kurukshetra there also. These are Mahavaikuntha, yeah. Okay. Any other?
And so Prabhu, now next question is, there is a Mayapur in Goloka, I mean in spiritual world as well, right?
Navadvip. Navadvip is there. It's between Radhakund and Shamkund. Radhakund and Shamkund here looks like maybe 20 feet by 100 feet or something. I don't know, 200 feet maybe. But in spiritual world is a whole planet actually in between. Shatadvip is there in between itself. It's inconceivable. Sometimes if you think about, Prabhupada says, Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastam. So Krishna entered into every atom. Then he says, in the atom, Krishna is not alone. Krishna with his unlimited devotees. See, wait, why you say atom? Because English word atom means there is a limited, minute scale. Then you say inside, Lord lives there with his unlimited. So within limited, there is unlimited, or I don't know how do you translate it. But Prabhupada write like this. He said in a big lecture, he said, in the atoms, Krishna is not alone, he is with all his entourage, millions and billions of associates, holy dhams. So it's inconceivable, in other words. My brain will never can figure it out. Just accept it. That's all it is. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur write like nicely. Conceivable means you can conceive. Okay, what is pillar made of? Pillar made of bricks, maybe 12 inches by 4 inches. Okay, that makes sense. So you put a maybe 10 bricks time 18 layer makes one column. Very good. You put a cement to keep it. And if you measure Nishingadev's body, his body is few miles, his hair scattered the cloud. So his hair scattering the cloud in the sky, and his feet It's really shaking the whole planet. Whole earthly planet is about to like slide off or break, go out of orbit or something, because Lord is so angry. Now, such a giant body, it's required giant space, but they both exist in the pillar. So how big is the pillar? Well, I thought pillar was just, I don't know, 2 feet by 18 feet. So how is that 2 feet by 18 feet has a giant body, few miles body inside? I don't know. I'll never understand this. But I have to accept it. That's what the inconceivable means. We accept 3 things, no? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says you must accept 3 things about Krishna in order to meditate it to your object of love, Krishna. Otherwise, we will make it disturbed. He says that in Jiva Goswami Pad found this word. You have to accept that Lord is endowed with inconceivable potency. You must meditate on that. Inconceivable potency means you will not understand, but just accept it with faith. Second is, he is the reservoir of all pleasure. Anybody, anywhere, whether believer, non-believer, doesn't matter. Everybody is looking for pleasure. Even tea drinker. Prabhupada said even wine, if they can know the taste is Krishna, they will be benefited spiritually. Because the flavor of wine, I know I'm not promoting wine drinking, but Prabhupada said that if they can just think the taste of the wine, because it is Krishna. Without Krishna, there is no flavor. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, is a reservoir of pleasure. We have to meditate like this. All 3 should be embedded in our consciousness 24 hours a day. Why not? What else to think? Just think of few quality of Krishna. His inconceivable potencies with him. Okay, good. Vishavanu Maharaj was meditating. And then he got Srimati Radharani as his daughter, thinking inconceivable potency. Just imagine, by meditating on that one sloka, he was endowed with being an eternal father of Radharani. Okay. Prabhus and mothers also.
Prabhu, third one.
Oh, third one, actually should be the first one. That Sri Hari is by himself, for himself, of himself. Who made him God himself. That's very... But no God can claim that. No God can claim that I am by myself. What to talk about a human being? Even God cannot claim. Origin of Shiva is not a Shiva. When I challenged that to this professor, I remember, he said, I grow up, my mother taught me everything about creation and everything. I thought Shiva was the origin, this, that. I said, no, because origin of Shiva is not in Shiva. Nijang Sakalai Krishna Tamagunangikari Sangharate Maya Sange Rudra Rupodhari. It is Krishna, Nija Angsa Kalai. Krishna says, I have taken this form to associate with Maya and destruction, pralay. Nijangsa Kalai Krishna Rudra Rupodhari. Assume the form of Rudra. So it's very nice. Those verses like... So I asked him, I said, can you prove anywhere that he is by himself? He says, I don't know. I said, do some research. You are teaching in the university, but you can also learn the Sanskrit and you grow up in the UP, you know. So he did a lot of, but then after that he says, my mother said, nobody ever asked like this. Who is the origin? Origin of Shiva is where? I know, it's like a very technical question, isn't it? What is the origin of Shiva? What do you mean origin of Shiva? I thought he is the origin. No, he's not origin of him. It is Krishna is the origin of Shiva. No god can claim origin of themselves without Krishna. Yesterday was very simple discussion that Krishna is always, any form of Krishna you see, it doesn't look like very powerful. It's like a loving, lovely young man, young boy. It's very difficult to see he's the origin of everything. Even here, Mother Bhashwati or Mother Sushilpa Devi's, thumbnail, I'm looking at it. It's Krishna, just a little boy with the deer, little boy playing with his brother. It's just, Krishna does not have that face. I am the supreme. Come on. But he did say, you don't believe it, you'll be doomed. Whoa, that's scary. If you look at the 924 Bhagavad Gita, I mean, he didn't say exactly like this. I'm just dramatically just saying it. He's like a bully god. He said, you don't accept it, you will fall down. But when you look at him, he's just a simple young boy. Who doesn't want to love him? It's like, it's so nice. Okay. Let us wait for tomorrow. Further description. We're looking for Prabhus and Mothers. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpataru vishya kripa sindhu vaiva chopaditanam pavane vaishnave bho namo namo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.